It was less than several months ago that a jury in Aurora, Colorado found 2 paramedics guilty in the death of Elijah McClain. While before that, an ex-officer had been found guilty in the young man's death as well. Now, if the name doesn't readily ring a bell, here's a quick summary of what went down in that unfortunate case.
We are following breaking news as we come on the air. A verdict has been reached in the manslaughter trial of 2 Colorado paramedics charged in the death of Elijah McClain. Jeremy Cooper and Peter Sakuniak have both been found guilty of criminally negligent homicide.
Last August, a 911 caller reported a suspicious man in a ski mask. McClain's family says he wore it because of a blood condition that made him feel cold.
Let me see, he has a mask on. He looks sketchy. He might be a good person or a bad person.
Yeah.
So, mask on.
Okay. Were any weapons involved or mentioned?
No.
Elijah McClain is walking home from a nearby Shell gas station. He's holding a plastic bag with his purchases. At 10:43 p.m., Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard spots McClain.
Do me a favor, stop right there. Stop. I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
Officers used a carotid chokehold to subdue McClain as he pleaded for his life.
I can't breathe correctly.
A paramedic injected McClain with a heavy sedative, 2 heart attacks, and 3 days later, he died, having committed no crime.
The story of Elijah McClain may differ in the nature of the misconduct itself. The actions of the so-called professionals involved are equally as deplorable. When we are suffering from a health-related emergency, we have no choice but to put our blind trust in others we can only hope are going to act according to what is in our best interest. We just briefly mentioned the story of Elijah McClain, but now let me introduce you to 2 EMTs who are also currently, as we speak, facing unprecedented criminal charges of first-degree murder. You may have seen their faces. Both ex-EMTs of Springfield, Illinois, Peggy Finley and Peter Cadigan, await trial for their role in the untimely, wrongful death of 35-year-old Earl Moore Jr. What you're about to watch is the bodycam footage compiled from 3 different police officers taken on that very night in question, i.e. it will depict the events that led to the prosecutor's decision to charge Finley and Cadigan with murder. I don't want to talk too much right now, other than to give a quick description of the scene we're going to be opening with. In essence, it's 1 or 2 hours past midnight on December 22, 2022. Springfield police are responding to a call they got requesting their assistance with a situation at a residence, which the caller claims involves weapons of some kind. The situation seems kind of vague, and it's not really too clear what these cops are expecting to find as we see them coming up on this house. We're going to see them greeted at the door by a rather distraught female whose identity remains anonymous, but who we can decipher is most likely the roommate of the caller, Earl Moore Jr. FYI, I'll be pausing the footage every now and then whenever clarification might be needed. But for now, let me just start rolling that footage so you can get an idea for yourselves as to what's going on.
743, 798, call history is going to be with Earl Moore. His name he gave, no addresses for bio and call history. 1048, read it, that doesn't
Dispatch has been updated.
Lincoln 843, Lincoln 843. Callers Irene advised that someone was knocking on her door and outside the vehicle. Out in front of her residence with a dark colored vehicle. That's on 17.
Police.
There's no one here with guns.
Okay.
He's hallucinating. He's having alcohol withdrawals. I don't want this problem here. I just moved into this house. Like I don't need this.
Okay.
My landlord lives across the street. He's having drunk hallucinations. He called you guys for no reason.
Do you want us to talk to him?
He's seeing stuff that's not there.
Do you think he needs an ambulance?
Every time I take him to the hospital, all they do is release him. That's all they do. They're here now, ma'am. It's fine.
is he just drunk or is he
He's
high,
having
or-
alcohol withdrawal hallucinations. He was a severe alcoholic. He hasn't had alcohol in 4 days. He's going through hallucinations from withdrawal.
He's not being violent or anything?
No, he's just seeing stuff that's not there and then hearing voices in his head.
Okay. So,
Like, if you guys want to take him in for an evaluation, you're more than welcome to.
do you think it's necessary? Do you think he just needs to...
I think he needs help, yes, because he's seeing stuff that's not there to the point where he's then called 911 saying there's guns.
Well, if you want us to come in and talk to him, we'd be more than happy. Where's he at?
He's in his bedroom in the way back.
What's his name?
Earl.
Earl? It's the
I
police.
promise there's no weapons in the house.
Okay. You called us, my man? You need some help?
Wait.
Huh? You need an ambulance?
North 28th, 2nd Street. 48.
I'm sweating.
248 North 8th Street. 24. Somebody get the phone.
What's happening, my man?
You know where you're at right now, man?
Home.
Where's home? You know where home is?
Come out on
North 25th. Stay here with me.
Well, we're going to stay here, but you're not on North 25th.
You know who the president is? You know what year it is, bud? Yeah.
Let's start with this. You know what your name is? Can you give us that?
Earl 20. Earl Moore.
Earl, what's your last name? What's going on with you, my man? Well, we're gonna have an ambulance come check you out, my man. Make sure you're okay. Looks like you're having some kind of problems. Very peaceful music.
Hey, Earl, who's that female out there?
The alcohol, because he is such a heavy drinker.
Oh, so he goes without alcohol and he's like this.
Yes, this is what happens when he doesn't
She's
have
worried
alcohol.
about you, my man. She said you've been struggling a little bit.
Call it psychosis from
You've been trying to get off the booze a little bit. And that shit ain't easy, cold turkey, man. It's messing you up real bad right now.
Get his name from her. Earl.
You know his whole name?
The only weapons in the house were hammers, and he was walking around the house with hammers, like going to the doors on paranoid and stuff. I hid the hammers.
Do you know his
That was the only weapons in the house was
Do
two
you know his
hammers.
full name?
Yes, Earl Moore.
How long you been feeling like this, my man?
Oh, my husband's cousin. My husband's at work. I've been trying to reach him to
Do you
let
know
him
how old
know.
he is?
He is 35.
You know his birthday?
March
Do you remember why you called the police?
something. I don't know. I can't
That's
think
fine.
of the date, but it's March something 87.
Earl Moore, yeah. That's fine. Thank you.
I've tried to get him to. He hasn't been up for 3 days since he ain't had alcohol. He hasn't slept. Helps his psychosis from the withdrawals.
No, probably not.
So far, what we've got here is a situation where a resident of the home, 35-year-old Earl Moore Jr., dialed 911 complaining that there was somebody in his house with guns or weapons of some sort and that he needed police assistance. We learned this not to be true when the door is answered by a rather frantic female who explains to the officers that there are no guns or any other weapons in the home and that her roommate is simply suffering from hallucinations brought on as the result of acute alcohol withdrawal. Female agrees to let the cops in to have a look, and when they make it all the way back to Earl's bedroom, they find him lying there muttering in gibberish and he's indeed in overall pretty miserable shape. Cops, after trying to gauge his level of togetherness by asking him a few basic questions, such as who's the president and what's your address, pretty quickly determined that the situation is indeed a medical situation, and they pretty immediately call out for an ambulance. After that, we just sort of get to see them stand by, keeping an eye on Earl as they wait for EMS to get there. There was one main reason why I wanted to pause the footage around here. There's one thing I want to make sure everyone understands, and that basically has to do with what alcohol withdrawal does to a person. This is important because in order to appreciate what ends up happening in this case, it's kind of pertinent to understand how serious of a state Earl Moore Jr. is in. And given how alcohol withdrawal is still a pretty misunderstood thing, I want to make sure everyone understands exactly how dangerous it can actually be. Up until fairly recently, it was believed acute withdrawal from only 2 substances could kill you. One of these 2 substances being a class of medications called benzodiazepines, which you may or may not know include Valium, Klonopin, Ativan, some might argue Xanax, and that sort of thing. And the second of these dangerous substances being alcohol. In more recent times, people are kind of slowly starting to recognize that acute withdrawal from opiates might also pose a serious danger in many cases, but as far as alcohol is concerned, there isn't really any ambiguity about it. If you're alcohol dependent and you quit just cold turkey like our friend Earl is doing here, you can die. That's why the best way to quit drinking is to either taper off, which is often difficult for someone with an alcohol dependency to do on their own, or else check into a detox facility that helps you through the process by monitoring you constantly and giving you meds to help you come off it or what have you. One of the things that we need to understand about Earl here is that while his effort to quit in this manner is absolutely remarkable, the manner in which it's being done cold turkey and totally unsupervised is extremely dangerous. It's hard to tell what someone is experiencing internally when we can't see it for ourselves. So I can see how a layperson might be inclined to look at this scenario and think to themselves that this Earl guy, oh, he's probably exaggerating his symptoms. Or, as is going to become relevant in just a few more minutes into our footage, oh, it's not all that bad. Earl really needs to just tough it up a little bit. Please believe me that this is no act. The man you see on this bed, who you're going to see throughout this video, all of this is not an act he's putting on. And just so everyone knows some of the things Earl may be experiencing right now, withdrawal from alcohol has been known to cause hand tremors or the shakes, nausea, even vomiting or dry heaving. What's not uncommon is for the patient to cough or throw up actual bile, which I won't go into describing other than to say that it's pretty foul. Alcoholism almost always tends to deprive a person of vital nutrients. Vitamin B is a big one. And over time, the alcohol can actually atrophy the brain. Patients also tend to experience insomnia. A person might experience cold sweats, hot flashes, chills, loss of memory, which could be either temporary or chronic, and they may experience a sense of depersonalization or derealization. As is in Earl's case, they may become delusional and hence paranoid, and they may even start to experience auditory or visual hallucinations. More often than not, the patient is going to have some pretty terrible diarrhea. They may feel weakness and numbness in various parts of the body, and they may experience dizziness. They might develop tunnel vision, namely upon standing, and it may even get to the point that they actually faint or black out. Then there's acid reflux, which isn't too uncommon, and they may develop a hyperactive gag reflex. A lot of patients are going to have seriously heightened anxiety and also depression. They're almost always going to experience severe as in life-threatening dehydration. They often will have an increased heart rate and increased blood pressure, which is why it's pertinent to keep patients' vitals closely monitored. Let's see what else. Their blood sugar may drop slowly or suddenly, which can result in hypoglycemia, which in turn might make them feel disoriented, and or it can cause them to pass out and fall into basically a diabetic coma for all intents and purposes. Finally, they may feel pressure in their neck and their head or their chest. They might feel discomfort or tightness, and they might experience shortness of breath. These patients may become more prone to panic attacks, lightheadedness, and they may also suffer seizures. And this is all literally just what's off the top of my head. So it's not an extensive list, and it furthermore doesn't do much to touch on what may be happening to a person's insides. But given this plethora of nasty symptoms, I can't imagine that what's going on inside can really be all that pretty. In the end, I just hope that this provides people with a good idea of what a vulnerable state such individuals are in. Bottom line here, alcohol withdrawal is a very dangerous thing. It can be life-threatening, and therefore it should always be recognized by medical professionals and treated as such. I apologize, that was a little longer than I had anticipated, but it's important to know in order to truly appreciate the rest of what this footage has in store. So let's just get back to said footage while not forgetting throughout this whole thing that what you see with Earl is exactly what you get. He's not exaggerating and he's not faking shit. When he demonstrates he's not able to walk, it's not because he wants to give everybody a hard time. It's because literally he can't walk. Similarly, when he states he can't breathe, that isn't code for something else. What he means by that is that he can't breathe. It's just something for everyone to keep in mind as our story progresses.
Nice Jordans. What's up, bud?
Yeah, he's water.
Yeah, man, we can get you some water.
He goes probably like 3 or 4 cents a day, crushed beer, and he's trying to learn to have alcohol days. So since he ain't had alcohol,
Yeah, you're sweating up a storm, my man.
Is that heavy of a drinker?
yeah.
You want to take it too, or you want to take it?
Well, there's your water. Maybe just set it down, I guess. Said he wanted water.
Just on a psych evaluation, and they tell me they can't hold him against his will. So they released him as soon as we had it happen 3 times. I took him to St. John's twice. I took him to Memorial. Memorial actually kept him overnight, but then released him in the morning and said nothing's wrong with him. So they don't see any issues. I called Gateway. Gateway didn't return my phone calls because I was trying to get him on inpatient, and Gateway didn't. Like, he's got insurance, so I mean, and he wants to get sober. That's the problem. It's just fighting the demons in his head when he gets sober. They called me and my husband called everywhere yesterday, trying to get a hold of something about an inpatient with him, and it's he gets the paranoid stuff, and he won't give his social security number out or his information over the phone because he thinks that they're stealing his information to come after him.
Yeah.
Because of the voices in his head.
Yeah.
It's a very, very hard situation.
So we're only moments away from seeing the arrival of the EMTs, which I promise you is really going to flip this whole thing on its head. But just super quick, I only wanted to point out something that for me is rather refreshing to see, and that is basically these cops' conduct in this situation is actually rather impressive. I'm drawing attention to this in part because in just a few moments you're going to see at least one EMT behaving in very stark contrast to this, and given what I just talked about before with regard to Earl's condition, the way that he gets treated becomes of heightened importance. And also, of course, there's still a pretty obvious stigma that goes along with any kind of chemical dependency. And I can't help but think of just how easy it would have been for one or more of these cops to come in looking down on Earl. There's really only one way I can think of how I can say this, and basically take any situation that involves someone who's known to have been an abuser of drugs or alcohol, and every person that's observing is going to generally fall into one of 2 camps. Given a situation like Earl's, for example, people are going to have either a sympathetic view of the situation, as in here's a man who maybe hasn't done everything all perfectly, and honestly who has, but who evidently wants to better his life and is taking steps toward that. Therefore, we should be supportive of him. He wants help, like we just said, and this is something we should commend him for. Then there's going to be your second camp, who's going to have a far less less sympathetic outlook. They might tend to think, well, he brought this onto himself, so why should I feel any remorse for him? I think no matter which side you find yourself on, if a person is in law enforcement, or even more so if they're a medical professional of some sort, having a nature toward compassion should be an absolute requirement. And again, it's like here we've got a situation where it's the cops that are seemingly well-intended, sympathetic, and so forth, and yet the EMTs, as you'll see, are downright draconian.
And it's not necessarily something that like is, I mean, obviously the alcohol's doing it.
Yep.
So he doesn't necessarily need, I mean, maybe drugs, I don't know, but he needs
The only thing he does is smoke weed. That's the terrible part. That's all he does is smoke weed, and he ain't been doing that since he ain't had alcohol.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
He acts completely different. He's a completely different person when he's sober. Like when he drinks, he's talkative. He's a happy person. When he's sober, this is what it is.
But the crappy thing is like, he's still that person. He just has to get over that hump.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think African Asian.
all the time we're like,
African, I think Asian probably. Out there in the jungle. Pumbaa.
like I said, I know you guys are doing everything you can. I just know everybody I've talked to for Gateway. Like the list is so long around here. Everybody wants to come to the Capitol with all their problems, and
it's hard. It's hard because we've been fighting this for months. Like his mom and them thought he was on drugs, and we told him like we're around him 24 hours a day. He's not doing anything. Like we've noticed that the only time he gets like this is when he hasn't had alcohol. To be a heavy drinker, and I'm like going on like almost 7 years sober. I smoke weed. I don't drink.
Yeah.
I don't even have no occasional drink. The smell of it makes me sick.
Well, I mean, the problem is with the hospitals, like, you know how many people we have in town who are homeless or whatever, who are just, they're not right upstairs. We can't force them to stay at the hospital. The hospital can't force them there unless, as in circumstances.
You want that water?
Empty.
Voices in his head, they're not there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they pick up on everything, so then you telling him, like, to chill out there.
He unplugged the whole TV earlier. He carried the whole TV off and said that someone's listening and they're on the TV and they're talking back to them.
And a bear.
It's the TV talking because I'm watching a movie. Like,
And the scary thing is like, this could be temporary, but it could also be.
he's going through like the hardest days now and sweats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can obviously see it. Ambulance will come and try and take him in there, but... How long is the longest he's made it without?
Last time he couldn't get through this. He got tired. He couldn't keep going through this, so it was like 4 days, and he started drinking again. Right now we're on day 3. And he's a manager, you know. He's got a good good brain, and he's smart.
Yeah, we just gotta get over these 2. Cause I'm sure, like, day 5, day 6. Like, you know, it goes to that peak, and then it slowly starts getting...
Get it out of your system.
Yeah. And you don't need it to make you happy anymore.
That was the problem for the longest. He started drinking because he lived by himself for so long. So we were telling him to drink him, you know, he had...
We thought it was intoxication, but it's the opposite. It's having withdrawals from alcohol, he's psychosis. He's all over the floor and all over the bed.
Yeah.
I think he's 18, but he's stupid.
is Earl. Haven't been able to get much out of him.
This is day 3.
He was up on his bed and he just rolled off onto the floor after he's been slowly stripping off of his clothes. What was his last name?
Moore.
Moore.
He's 35, was born in March, but we don't have an exact birthday.
Earl.
What's your birthday, man?
Hey, what's your birthday?
She had like an ID.
This is about all we've been able to get.
Earl, sit up.
3. Get him.
If he has any ID.
Sit up. I don't know where it's at. He probably has his wallet on him. You know what? I am not lying.
Come on, Earl. Let's
Sit up.
man.
No.
What happened? Stupid.
Stop. Stop.
Sit up. Sit up now. I am not playing with you tonight. Sit up. What is your birthday?
March 22nd. March 22nd.
What year?
8. Earl, do you want to go to the hospital, man? We need to get up.
You're gonna have to walk because we ain't carrying you.
So let's get up on your feet.
Because I am seriously not in the mood for this dumb shit.
You can walk. Come on. Let's stand up. I'm gonna let you, Earl. I know you can do it. I've seen you do it.
I swear. No.
Stand up. Use your legs.
Come on, Earl. We'll get you some help, bud.
Let's take the coat with him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put it on.
I got your coat. Come on.
Some wet bullets.
Wait.
Nope. We're not doing that. We're going to the house.
Only way we're gonna get you is if we walk through the house.
Come on, Earl.
You're not dead weight.
Maybe we are.
All right.
No, we're just being lazy. Get up. Or you can stay here.
That whole scene we just observed is really painful for me to watch. The lady you see introduced, if you think you can warrant calling her that, is 45-year-old Peggy Jill Finley, and evidently she's the EMT inside the house, presumably there to help Earl. Of course, as you're going to see, some people have rapidly different definitions of the word help. There's another EMT that came partnered with Finley, and he is 50-year-old Peter J. Cadigan, just for the record. Presumably, Peter Cadigan isn't inside the residence helping because he is actually standing outside with a gurney, just as he's going to continue doing for approximately the next 10 minutes. Right now, even though Finley's actions speak for themselves, at the same time, it's so aggravating that it's like, I don't think I can just let this go and not say anything about the scene we just saw. What's probably the most glaring is her instant mistreatment of the patient. Earl is in need of help and may even be in danger for his life due to the nature of his condition. For whatever reason, this lady comes in and she almost immediately starts berating him. And keep in mind that Earl hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't been combative or anything like that. In fact, I don't think he's said a single word. When she enters the home, we can hear one of the officers give her a pretty in-depth briefing as to what's going on.
Hello. We thought it was intoxication, but it's the opposite. He's having withdrawals from alcohol, he's psychosis. And he's all over the floor and all over the bed and everything. I think he's actually seeing things too.
For whatever reason, the fragility of his condition is something she chooses to overlook. She at least acts as if she doesn't recognize the dangers inherent in his condition, or possibly even worse, she does understand the dangers, but she simply doesn't care. In my opinion, the woman is just a rotten, sick human being, because honestly, why else would she stand there and try to force him to produce this information that she's asking for if she trusts that he's unable to do so? Then there's a super cringy part where she yells at him something along the lines of, if you want any help, then you're going to have to walk because we ain't carrying you.
You're gonna have to walk because we ain't carrying you. Because I am seriously not in the mood for this dumb shit.
The worst part about all this is that this isn't actually a problem of inadequate training. You can undergo shitty training and still not need to be a raging bitch to people. All in all, it's just a foul scene. She's cussing at him, and at one point she physically and rather forcefully pulls him and drags him over across the room. This is not what a person in Earl's situation needs at all, and Finley should have a shred of common sense enough to know this. To me, even after seeing this easily over a dozen times, it still doesn't get any easier. There has yet to be any justification for her being this abrasive and abusive and inhumane. This is beyond what most people would call poor bedside manner, but I don't feel like I have the right words for it. It's really something all unto its own. Anyway, there's so much more I'd like to touch on, but let's just try and get through the rest of this first.
If you want to go to the hospital, man, you got to help us out a little bit.
Earl, are you gonna go or are you gonna stay, bud?
If you're gonna go, you need to get up and walk.
What's up? What's up, buddy? You wanna go? Alright.
Then get up.
Come on.
Because you call them, you obviously know you need the help, you need to get up.
You got to use your legs, man. You can't just go dead weight on us.
You got to get up. You called them, obviously you need the help. Get up and go to the hospital.
We'll give you the help, bud.
You need the help.
What hospital you want to go to?
St. John's.
Come on, let's go. Help me up. Let's go. Come on. Help yourself.
All right. 1, 2.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Come on, buddy. Keep it moving.
All right, we're moving. We're moving.
Let's keep going. One foot in front of the other. Come on, buddy. We got you. We'll hold you up, but you got to walk forward.
Get your help.
Come on, buddy. We got you.
Call them, you need the help.
Now, watch the door. I got you.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Let's just be using. There you go. We're almost there. Come on, man. You gotta help us out a little bit. We ain't ever gonna get out of this house.
Guys, you got to get up and go. You need the help. Don't dead weight them. You called, you need the help.
Let's go. Come on.
1, 2, 3. Come on, Earl.
Let's go, buddy. All right, there you go. We got you. Come on. Right here to your left.
Are you freaking kidding me, man? I know you can walk. All you gotta do is get outside. There are cots outside.
Stop bullshitting. You called them, get up and go to the hospital.
Come on.
You can walk. Get up.
We're gonna leave you here, buddy. We don't want to do that, but we can't carry you all the way.
Earl, get up. You called them, you need to go. Go to the hospital. The ambulance is outside waiting for you. Get up.
All you gotta do is walk out that front door. Yeah, it's right outside. Waiting for you.
Come on. Earl, get up.
Is it right outside the door?
Earl, get up.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is walk out there.
Get up. Come on, you called, you wanted the help. Come on, get up.
All right, we got another 10 feet. 10 feet, my man. Come on. Come on this side. We got 10 feet. We're gonna go right to the door, and you can lay down. You can fall face first on that cot. Yeah, don't do that. All right, there you go. We're doing one swing though. We're not gonna take any more breaks.
That much further to go.
All right, we got you. Ready? We're doing it.
They got your coat.
We're doing it. Right here. Cop's right there. Right there. Keep going, buddy. Push. All you gotta do is
Keep
go right there.
going.
Right there. I know it's cold. I know it's cold. Up. Keep going. Keep going. Up negative. Come on, buddy. Now get up on there, man.
Come on, get up on there, old bud.
They can't get you there if you don't get on the cot.
Get up on there, Earl. It's a bent on wheel. Get up there.
We're spinning them around. Come on. Stand up. Stand up. Come on. All right, Earl, this is getting a little silly, man. There you go. There we go.
they'll get him to the hospital.
Hospital you guys want to go to? Or?
Saints, apparently. Thanks. Oh, I'm gonna wait till he gets in there. If he gets in there. He'll find his way to dead weight off of that thing.
Oh, he's strapped him in good. He ain't gonna do that.
We got hand sanitizer. Yeah, I got a whole mess of it. Why didn't you put on your gloves, man?
I don't know. Put them out of in the car.
Come on, McFly.
McFly,
Two emergency service workers are charged with first-degree murder after a man died following transport to a hospital. The Sangamon County State's Attorney's Office in Illinois says Peter Cadigan and Peggy Finley responded to the home of Earl Moore Jr. on December 18th at the request of Springfield police.
There we go.
After review of investigative materials, I've classified Mr. Moore's death as a homicide.
Stand up. Use your legs.
Police say when they arrived, they were told Moore was suffering from alcohol withdrawal symptoms. Bodycam video shows first responders inside his bedroom trying to get him to his feet, but he seems unable to walk on his own. One of the paramedics is in the room, but police say she offered no assistance to the patient, and the officers took turns carrying him out of the house.
Keep going, keep going. Oh,
once outside, the patient needed help getting onto the stretcher. After police helped get him on the stretcher, the other paramedic adjusted his position. Then both paramedics secured Moore to the stretcher and took him to the ambulance. He later died at the hospital.
Dr. Denton has listed the cause of death as compressional and positional asphyxia due to prone, face-down restraint on a paramedic transportation cot stretcher by tightened straps across the back.
Bail was set for Cadigan and Finley at $1 million.